Hello and welcome all of you to T10 by Bangalore IAS Academy. In this video series, we'll be discussing the most repeated 10 topics from the UPSC prelims PYQs in the past. And today I have a topic from ancient and medieval India. See, ancient and medieval India is one of the biggest syllabus points to cover in the entire prelims syllabus. It's very vast and there are very few topics that will give you a good input-output ratio. And one topic where your investment is going to give you a lot of returns is Vijayanagara Empire. What I'm going to show you is repeated questions from this particular topic. You can see one question from 2023, 2 years back, one from 2022, one from 2021. So 3 years repeatedly. In all of ancient and medieval India, you may have 5-6 questions. From that, one topic, Vijayanagara Empire, is repeating every year. 2016 you have, 2015 you have. So there are a few things, very few things about Vijayanagara Empire which you should know by heart. Just like landmarks, you should be identifying these basics. Once you know these basics, you will have a good probability of cracking these most repeated questions. So what are those basic landmarks or basic facts that you have to remember about the Vijayanagara Empire? First thing to remember, what is the time period of this empire? Whenever you study something from history, you have to place that thing in the right time period, then in the right space, then you have to identify the most important kings, then you have to identify the important developments socially. So just like that, 3-4 landmarks are there. The first and foremost thing, the year. The year in which Vijayanagara Empire got established is 1336. That is 14th century. If you can't remember the exact year, remember it as 14th century. Now the question, who found this empire in 14th century? Two people are credited for it, Harihara and Bukka. Now you can see this, 14th century is the time period which is contemporary to the Delhi Sultans and not the Mughals. Mughals come to India only in 1526. So Harihara and Bukka established the Vijayanagara Empire much before the Mughals came to India, 1336. Now, there is another similarity with the Delhi Sultanate. Vijayanagara Empire is not a single dynasty. Just like the Delhi Sultanate, it is composed of different dynasties. So when you take the Delhi Sultanate, you have the Khilji dynasty, you have the Tughlaq dynasty, you have the Sayyids, you have the Lodhis. But when you take the Mughals, you just have the same lineage, the same dynasty. Vijayanagara Empire is like the Delhi Sultanate, not like the Mughals. It has 4 different dynasties within it. The first one, Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva and Arabiya. In which Tuluva you should study with a little more importance because the most famous king comes from the Tuluva dynasty, Krishna Deva Raya. So first about the time, second about the founders, third about the 4 major dynasties, and this particular year. This is the year which marks the decline of the empire. So Vijayanagara Empire doesn't start and end just like that. It starts through a process because this Harihara and Bukka were commanders in the Kakatiya army. Then they declare their independence. Then they find their own empire. The decline is also like that. It's like a process. There is a battle called Battle of Talikota in 1565. In that battle, the combined forces of Bahmani Sultanate, they will defeat the Vijayanagara Empire. But it doesn't completely go off like that. It will stay there for some more time and they will decline. In the modern times, you can visit the city of Hampi, which is the capital of Vijayanagara Empire. It's a destroyed city. It was called the lost city of Hampi. Why is it a destroyed city? Because of this battle. Battle of Talikota, 1565. So these 4 basic facts you must remember when it comes to Vijayanagara. This is the framework of it. Once you identify this framework, we'll go to the next level. In the next level, you have to understand the meaning of this stuff. Vijayanagara. Vijaya means victory. So literally, Vijayanagara means city of victory. First thing, literal means. Within Vijayanagara, the capital city. I mentioned it already, Hampi. It is the capital. Now one more fact that we have to connect with the location. Hampi is located on the banks of Tungabhadra River. I will show you a map which will give you more sense about this. You can see it here. Vijayanagara Empire is not a regional kingdom. You can see Karnataka is covered here. You can see Goa comes here. Parts of Maharashtra will come. Andhra, Telangana will come. Even the Chera region of northern Kerala will come. So Vijayanagara Empire is one empire that dominated the entire south of India. It has languages including Sanskrit, Telugu and even Kannada. So Vijayanagara Empire is a big empire spanning this entire region, and the center is on the banks of Tungabhadra River with the capital Hampi. That is the second year. Now coming to the next. They introduced certain interesting things, certain peculiar things. And the most peculiar administrative contribution was the system called Vijayanagara system. Or in simple words, the Nayaka system. Nayaka system means a military official will be appointed as the local governor of a particular place. That person will be known as the Nayaka. So in simple words, you can remember they are like the Zamindars or they are like the local district collectors, just like that. In Vijayanagara terms, they have a term Nayaka. That's it. When you study modern India, time and again the term Nayaka will come back. Rebellion by the Nayaka chiefs, Nayaka revolt, Nayaka chieftains. So it all starts from here. This system was introduced by the Vijayanagara Empire. Third. Next. I told you, you should remember some kings from every empire. Krishnadevaraya is the most famous king. There is no doubt about that. But there is one more Devaraya before it. There is Devaraya 1, there is Devaraya 2 as well. You don't have to remember all the Devarayas. But one important Devaraya is there. He is not from the Tuluva dynasty. He comes from the dynasty before that. And he is known for building a lot of dams along the banks of Tungabhadra. So this emperor is credited for that. Don't get it confused with Krishnadevaraya. That's why I'm noting it separately. And also keep in mind, apart from Krishnadevaraya, there are different Devarayas. Devaraya 1 and Devaraya 2. Just to make that fact clear, I'm giving it here. Now let's come to Krishnadevaraya. Krishnadevaraya, I told you already, his dynasty is Tuluva. Now that you will remember for sure. But see his timing, 1509 to 1529. Now to remember this, very easy, connected with the year in which Babur came to India, 1526. So Krishnadevaraya in a way is contemporary to Babur. Because Babur came to India 1526, Babur died in 1530. Krishnadevaraya died in 1529. If you connect it with Babur, it's very easy to remember this time period. Krishnadevaraya ruled for a time period of almost 20 years. Now remember this time period. Talking about his contributions, every great king, be it Akbar, Shivaji, Ashoka, Chandragupta to Vikramaditya, all these people had some important people in their court. Because king is as strong as his team. And Krishnadevaraya had 8 important people known as Ashtadiggajas. Ashta means, if you want to name a few, Allah Sadi Pendana, Tenali Ramakrishna. You don't have to remember all the names, but at least remember Ashtadiggajs were part of Krishnadevaraya's court, and it has 8. Ashta means 8. Now talking about his writings, you can also find certain kings in history who write their own literature, who are scholars, who are coming up with the idea of a philosopher king. Krishnadevaraya was one such person, and he has written a lot of books in multiple ideas. Some examples, Amukta Manyata in Telugu. So he was a scholar in Telugu. Jambavadi Kalyana and Usha Parinayam in Sanskrit. So he has written in Telugu, he has written in Sanskrit. And I told you Kannada has very close connection with the Vijayanagara Empire. So 3 languages was very close to this empire. And in 2 languages, Krishnadevaraya himself has written the books. That's the next fact. We are coming to the end of the session. Architecture. Talking about Vijayanagara architecture, it was very close to the Bahmani Sultanate, which means Islamic influences there in Vijayanagara architecture. First point. Second point, South Indian temples or the Dravidian temples are usually known for big gateways. They have big gateways. If you go to Tanjavur and Brihadeshwara temple, you can see a very big Gopura. But Vijayanagara Empire on the other hand had something called Raya Gopurams. They are gateways only, but much more elaborate. And they had a specific term called Raya Gopuram. So Raya Gopuram is associated specifically with the Vijayanagara Empire. Keep that in mind. One more thing associated with the Vijayanagara Empire is functional architecture. Functional architecture means architectural sites which have specific functional roles associated with temples. So in a Vijayanagara temple complex, you may see something called the Kalyana Mandapa, where marriage functions are held. It's a functional thing. You may see elephant stables where elephants are kept. Such functional architecture are part of Vijayanagara temple complexes. That is also one of the cases. So Vijayanagara architecture, I've given you 3 key points: Indo-Islamic influence, Raya Gopura, and functional architecture. Example, Kalyana Mandapa. Now some examples of the temples itself: Vittala Swami temple, Virupaksha temple, and Ramaswamy temple at Vijayanagara. Virupaksha is very famous and very important. Never forget this. Now finally, one last thing. Vijayanagara Empire is known for a lot of travelers who visited the empire. Abdul Razak, Niccolo Conti, Nunes. From Portuguese, Spain, Italy, many travelers have visited Vijayanagara Empire. Some visited Krishnadevaraya, some visited the rulers before that. And they have mentioned a lot of things. One classic example, they talked about women in the Vijayanagara Empire. Women were good in wrestling. They were good in soothsaying, astronomy in Vijayanagara Empire. Now, it's not possible for any aspirant to read all these travelogues and understand everything. But have a fair idea. A lot of travelers visited. They have mentioned about the society, culture and geography of this region in very vast pages. So it's very likely that a lot of things have been said about the culture of the state by the travelers. With this, I'll conclude Vijayanagara Empire. The facts are very small. You can study it and the dividend will be very high. See you next time with some other topic. Thank you.